Well, let's get some analysis now with Peter Zalmayev, who's the director of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative, which is an international non-profit organisation dedicated to the promotion of democracy and rule of law. He joins us now from Kiev. Thank you so much for joining us. Firstly, can you just update us on the latest situation in Kiev there right now? We know it's the fourth day of hostilities. What's happening around you?
Well, it seems like, once again, Vladimir Putin is suffering a major setback to his campaign, which was probably designed to last a couple of days, and such stiff resistance that the Russian forces are currently facing was ever expected. It's been, fourth day, and the resistance has only grown stiffer, and the casualties on the Russian side have grown. It's reported that they are now the number is as high as 3,500. Obviously, the Russian Federation is now doing everything in its power to hide the fact from Russians. They do not acknowledge any casualties, imagine that, whatsoever, to their own people. And so as the Russians get more desperate to try to achieve a much quicker victory, so as to avoid all the opprobrium and the criticism that is coming from all over the world, from celebrities to financial institutions, and the coming exclusion from SWIFT, which will damage and cripple possibly the Russian economy. They are resorting to war crimes. There have been cluster bombs sighted around Ukraine. Several residential buildings have been hit. Just today, an oil facility was hit right outside of Kiev, threatening a huge ecological disaster. Children have been killed already. That just shows you that Putin is desperate now that his campaign has not gone according to plan.
And Peter, we know the Ukrainian president posted a video message directed to the Russian president calling on Putin to sit down with him to de-escalate the situation. It seems that Russia has responded. It sent a delegation to Belarus urging for talks with the Ukrainian parties. But the Ukrainian president has rejected that, saying that he won't meet in a country from which attacks were launched into Ukraine. Is this the right approach? Do you think that the Ukrainian president should meet with Putin, even if it means meeting in Belarus?
Well, first of all, I believe that he will not be safe in Belarus. Belarus is by now a puppet state of the Russian Federation. It's a protectorate. The president there has no real power outside of Putin's power. So Vladimir Zelenskyy may be arrested, for all I know, if he arrives in Belarus. And second of all, it is very important. It seems that the preconditions that Russia has set out from the beginning of this war against Ukraine are simply unacceptable, and they haven't changed. He wants the government to be overthrown, Vladimir Putin, and he demands that Ukraine be militarized and denazified, whatever that means. He's essentially called on the Ukrainian armed forces to give up their arms. No Ukrainian president, no Ukrainian government official can enter those talks in good faith, can promise Vladimir Putin what he needs and remain legitimate with the Ukrainian people. It is now an all-out war to defend their country, and Ukrainians will fight with or without any president whatsoever.
Yes, and as we know, you are in the capital, Kiev, and fighting has intensified in and around the city. We know that the Russian forces, though, have faced some unexpected effective resistance from the Ukrainian defense forces, as well as civilians who've heeded the call to take arms and defend their city. How big is the threat, do you think, that Russia may take over the capital?
Well, first of all, let me just correct. I was in Kiev up until 2 days ago. I had to evacuate my family. I was trying to get back into the capital. I'm outside. Right now, there's a curfew, and so there's no entry possible until Monday. Monday, we'll see. We'll hope to reunite with our brethren in Kiev. Now, as far as your question about the likelihood of Kiev falling, well, all military intelligence services, governments, and analysts obviously point out that Russia's military is no match to Ukraine's. It's clear, but the balance is shifting somewhat now that even Germany has promised to send Ukraine 500 anti-tank missiles. The Netherlands is sending missiles. People are sending money. Foreign men from other countries are joining the fight. So while no outright military victory, I think there's no outright military victory possible in the maybe in the next few days in Kiev. I just suspect that Vladimir Putin may decide to go for scorched earth tactics now that he's seeing that it's not going to be very easy. It's the bloodiest scenario that we could have ever imagined. It's essentially Stalingrad. That's what needs to happen probably for Kiev to fall, because from what I've seen in the city, from what I've seen throughout the country, people are not about to give up their arms that easily.
Okay, Peter Zalmayev, we'll have to leave it there, but do stay safe and thank you again for joining us on TRT World.
Thank you.